Alright everybody, hello and welcome on to the live stream here. I'm glad I could finally get everything going after having a little bit of a connection issue there. But now you should be able to see what we're looking at with live radar, and the stream should be going. So hope everybody is doing well. Hope you're having a great Sunday evening at this point. Let me just configure a couple things real quick. Just kind of had to do some Wi-Fi reset and everything to get this going. But welcome into the stream, everyone. Hope you are having a great Sunday evening, as I've said. And this is what we're looking at this evening. We've got snow breaking out here over parts of eastern Arkansas, northern Mississippi, northwestern Alabama, and then on over here into parts of western Tennessee and into Kentucky as well. So make sure you're hitting that like button at this point as well. That really helps get the stream out so more people can see the latest information here on the weather and get that live update. But let's go ahead and kind of get into the content. Hello in the chat. Got some different viewers in the chat. Hello to everybody. Welcome onto the stream this evening. Don't know if we're going to have as many people as last night, but that is okay. To everyone who's here, welcome onto the stream. We're going to get into this update here. And let's go ahead and hop right into it. Again, this evening we've got that snow. Some of our heaviest snow, this is in that region that the models were kind of picking up on here. Memphis and just southeastward of town, it's snowing pretty good. They're along that I-22 corridor there from Memphis to Tupelo. Some snow is coming down at a pretty decent clip. How much snow for Parkersburg, West Virginia? Great question. These live streams, I love doing Q&A on here. So let's get into we'll get into your total here in just a moment. I do want to look at this live radar, and then we'll get into future, and then we'll talk about how much snow you could get. But you're on that West Virginia-Ohio border. And yeah, the snow's kind of encroaching on you right now in Parkersburg, isn't it? I'm kind of moving in from the south and west at this point. So we've got some snow around, that's for sure. And that's going to, again, this snow is going to be kind of moving like this, but at the same time kind of spreading out while it does so. And we're going to have that ice stretching back down along this as well. All right. Let's get, and yeah, let's look at your, I want to see National Digital. Yeah, let's look at this. Snow, 6 hours. Here's what we've got for snowfall. This is where that snowfall is going to be moving later tonight. Okay, this is what the National Weather Service is showing us. You can see, look at where the snow ends up going to, by the way, to the north and eastern United States. But if we take a look at the models and we go to HRRR and we take a look at the total snowfall that we're going to be getting here in the 10-to-1 ratio for you there in Parkersburg. Here's how the snowfall is looking to shape on up. Again, we've got a new run coming out right here, right now. That's what we had going on last night on the stream as well. But let's kind of get this. Alright. I do think as of now, those heavier totals might shade just a little bit south of you. And in fact, in Parkersburg, this might be a very close event. This is showing a quarter to half an inch. We can look at what a different model is showing all the way through the run in snowfall in Parkersburg. And yeah, you get kind of the same gist with most of the snow being on off towards the south and east. This is the NAM, by the way. By the way, also look at the NAM. I got to give it credit for pinpointing that snow there in northwestern Arkansas for today. But what I cannot give the NAM credit for, this is ridiculous, okay? Just don't believe that total with the NAM at all. Just for comparison, here's what the HRRR model snow is through that same time. Let's get on over to 18Z. 18Z run, yeah. Look, this is how much snow the HRRR has. Don't get me wrong, there's some purples on here. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Kind of those heavier totals here in northern Mississippi. And then this is what's going to gradually make its way on off towards the north and east. But let's get back to that live radar. Right now, and again, this is what we've got reflectivity. This is as if everything is falling as rain. Again, notice where that heavier precip is. It's in northern Mississippi. Embedded in the snowfall here. Some of these snowfall rates may be close to an inch per hour. We'll have to see. Up there just north of the Tupelo area. How when you get the chance, what would you say for Toccoa, Georgia? Yeah, I got you for Toccoa. I covered you last night. Let's head on over to Toccoa and get you a look at what you've got with the latest forecast. If I had to say, I remember last night talking about this. I honestly don't think there's going to be much more than flurries at best. First of all, let's look at the total snowfall all the way through the event. Yeah, here we go. I mean, then the closest snow gets to you there is going to be kind of along this line. Now, what's interesting is you might get some freezing rain. That's again where you've got that cold air coming out. You've got cold air at the surface, enough for freezing, precip to freeze. But right above your head, you got that warmer air pocket. Of course, it falls as snow out of the cloud, melts to rain, and then freezes on contact. And you might get a little bit of freezing rain at the end of the event into Koa. And let me show you what that looks like here. I was kind of, because I was interested earlier when I was making my regular video for today, I was really kind of interested by how a lot of some of this rainfall that kind of caps off this event shifts over to some kind of look at that. You see that? So into Koa, this freezing rain line is probably going to diminish just before it gets to you, but it gets close. Over here, places like Greenville, South Carolina, on over to Charlotte, this is going to be rain. But this is what I was talking about with Atlanta suburbs. Look at that, Atlanta, South Fulton, East Point, all the way on up through Brookhaven, Sandy Springs, and Roswell. All these areas, ice. So that's an interesting kind of feature to see at the end of the system. But yeah, let's kind of rewind this and go all the way through the timing of this system, okay? Because I did that on the video earlier, but I want to do this live as well, kind of give more raw analysis. In the videos, I kind of try to fit everything into a time period. Here we're going to just kind of go through this. So again, we've had the snow move out of here. We got some decent totals into parts of, eastern Oklahoma. This might have been a little bit of a surprise snow for you. Here's kind of what we've got going on right now. First of all, considering the fact that it's snowing right here, I already don't like how this HRRR model starts out necessarily. So that's interesting there, into parts of northern Mississippi. But it's snowing in Memphis. It's getting going up towards Nashville. You've got the overall look of the snow heading on up towards Kentucky. So, HRRR not off to a bad start. And, all these pinks, this makes you think the freezing rain is coming down hard over this entire region right here. And don't get me wrong, there is some freezing rain accretion going on. But I'm looking at the scale up here at the top. Freezing rain, you're kind of in this range. The freezing rain can go about 3 times the rate that it's coming down at here in these pinks. So this is going to be coming down kind of gradually. But you know what I think makes that gradual freezing rain dangerous is the fact that people, this piles up on those roadways. You got the Monday morning. I don't know, how many people might have Martin Luther King Day off. But you've got that Monday morning commute possible here over this area. And, this is as we go towards 8, 9 a.m. This freezing rain is kind of lingering around. And look at how far south this goes. I mean, again, it's very cold at the surface. You've just got this pocket of warmer air aloft. This is the only reason you're not getting snow in this entire zone right here that I'm circling. But this is all freezing rain at this point. In Shreveport, Longview, Tyler, all these areas down. But again, down to College Station. I just worry for the commute over this entire area right here, because there's going to be, at least a glaze of some light ice on the roadways. So just keep that ice in mind as you travel here in southeast Texas, northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, through central Mississippi, even into northern Alabama tomorrow morning. At the same time, that ice event is still kind of lingering around back there. The ice isn't really on the move much. What is on the move is that snow. Overnight tonight into tomorrow morning in a place like Nashville, you might still be seeing snow there. Knoxville, Tennessee, parts of southern West Virginia, and then on over towards Washington, D.C., we might see snow onset later tonight and into tomorrow morning in Washington, D.C. But for your snow accumulation in Tennessee, you've got to worry about these pockets right here. You see these filling in towards the end. This is as that warmer air pocket in the the mid upper levels of the atmosphere. That causes you a problem. We can look at those surface temperatures as this ice is happening. Okay, so there's ice going on in Shreveport at this point. You're sitting 22 degrees and you're getting freezing rain. So what you're plenty in an environment for snow. So really, this shows you how much the other levels of the atmosphere impact what you get in the department, because you can be 40 and get some flakes. or in this case, you've got that warmer pocket. Again, look at this. This is your 850 millibar temperatures. Okay, so this is just a little bit above your head. It's 40. So this is where that melting's happening. That 850 millibar level. Let's see what it is at 700 millibars. You're back into the freezing temperatures at that point. So that right there, just above your heads, it's near 40 degrees, and that's what causes that icing. Even though it's near 20 at the surface, so that's really interesting. You would never think, right? In many cases, many people wouldn't think that you can have warm air that's actually warmer than where you are standing, right above your head. But anyway, I thought that would be a little bit of an interesting explanation to throw in there. By the way, if you're watching this and you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. Hitting the like button. It really helps me out here on that channel. Tomorrow, we'll have to watch for some, I don't want to call this heavy snow, but embedded pockets of some more moderate, maybe heavy snow over far northern North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, into parts of Maryland. So monitor those zones. Greensboro, North Carolina, this is going to be a close call for you. I do think you might get some flakes. I'm continuing to play this out tomorrow midday. Look at some of those heavier pockets. I mean, the HRRR painting a heavy bout of snow just south of Washington, D.C. And remember, any shift 50 miles northward could bring this straight on up into D.C. Mixing with rain there in Asheville, North Carolina. Sleet and kind of mixing with this here in this area. Again, look at this mostly uninterrupted snow even into the afternoon hours tomorrow through parts of Tennessee. But look at what happens towards the tail end of this event. Not only do we get that ice line to make it all the way to the Gulf of Mexico there in southeast Texas through south central Louisiana, we've also got ice pushing into Birmingham, Alabama, Huntsville, back through Mississippi. It's all ice, whatever's falling at this point. And again, it's not heavy, but it's a light accumulation of that ice, and it will add up over time. If you get a changeover at the end in Nashville, it would be brief. But late tomorrow, so late MLK Day, you might get a changeover to ice in Nashville, and in Chattanooga, and in Murfreesboro, and in Knoxville. And what this really does is it just puts that little glaze of ice on top of your snow. Okay? And this can cause big problems. You get maybe the roads are cleared of snow, but then you got a little bit of ice that comes down on those roads. So this is a dangerous, little bout of some freezing rain. And then again, there's that freezing rain line. Notice it pushes eastward. Yes, New Orleans, I'm zooming in on you. Could you turn over to ice? Possibly. It looks like a lot of the icy precipit's just going to kind of wind down on the tail end of this, because this kind of transitions to a front. But look at, that's event's winding down. Look what's picking up. Snow event here in the northeastern United States. So the NAM, I got to give the NAM credit. Yesterday I kind of threw the NAM in the trash bin during the live stream. Today the NAM model has regained my hope in life. So from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, through New York City, on up here all the way to Boston, I gotta tell you, it looks like you might get a little bit of snow, and it's not going to be heavy. It's not going to be a lot. All right. So just keep that in mind. This might be lagging a little bit. I'm trying to figure this out here. Sorry if there's a little bit of lag. Located in the Carolinas. That's where I report to you from. In Boston, we got that snow into our Tuesday morning, so this could cause some distracted commuters, especially near New York, where there hasn't been snow in a while, of considerable totals. And here's the HRRR's totals. A couple inches, possible. Maybe up towards Boston as well, a couple inches. So this snow will be worth tracking, for sure. Alright. But again, those heavier totals look to kind of move like this. Kind of on up into Appalachia as well. Alright, that's kind of what we're looking at here. The stream seems to be running a little slow. I apologize if that's going on for you. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions in the chat as always. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, share this out. Everything's coming out of the Mountain West, by the way. We've got a dangerous event going on just west of Denver tonight as well. Okay. I want to show you the hazards of what's going on here. Let's go on over to pivotal weather here, and let's switch what y'all are looking at. Nope, that's not going to work. Where is that? Alright, that's not going to work. We're back to Omega for now. Alright. Here comes that snow bout this evening, and it's going to exit southwest Tennessee, and then we're going to see some heavier snowfall move on up here into Appalachia as well. Localized spots in and around Nashville. Wouldn't rule out that you pick up close to maybe 6 inches of snow. But then on up here through Appalachia as well, that's also where you could get some heavier snow. And higher peaks, because there's higher peaks all the way on up through here. I'd be looking out for maybe higher peaks on the West Virginia border, 6 to 12. Same deal back down here, all the way down to the western North Carolina mountains. So, keep that in mind. Also, could get a little dot of snow up here through the Midwest and into parts of the northern Ohio Valley. We'll see how that goes. I don't know how that's going to play out. I think we can do full screen. Yeah, let's do full screen. Alright, here we go. You're looking at your hazards map right now. Look at all the winter weather advisories. All those winter weather advisories you see in northeast Texas, through Louisiana, into Mississippi, Alabama. All those areas, those winter weather advisories are for ice. Okay, we're not looking at a snow event causing that. When do we see freezing and ice in South Texas? Awesome question. Here we go. In South Texas, I assume you're talking about down there closer to the Mexico border. And if so, let's do this. But yeah, all those pinks, by the way, that you were just looking at on that map, from northeast Texas all the way to Appalachia, those are winter storm warnings. HRRR, let's go down here and go into local mode down here into South Texas. Yeah, there's a reason for that. So if you're from San Antonio southward, let's play this out. I'm hoping I'm getting you. Here we go. Playing this on out. It's looking like, you see those spotty light pinks on your screen. It's not going to be much, okay? Those light pinks in San Antonio all the way down to Corpus Christi region. Those are some small freezing drizzle pockets getting going. And I don't think far southern Texas is going to get freezing drizzle. But this is going to move through Corpus Christi all the way on up to Houston. How much ice is this going to amount to? Not much, okay? But the freeze warnings are in effect for immediately, like right around and thereafter this as well. So it will get cold. But in terms of ice accretion down here, in South Texas, that's just, it's not much. You can see those totals. But it looks like, this is that ice that I was telling you about. This is the kind of ice that I worry about for travelers, because it's that very light glaze. 0.05 in San Antonio, 0.04 in Victoria, 0.03 in Corpus Christi, on up there to Houston and surrounding areas. You're near 0.05 as well. And that's what concerns me a lot, because I think that ice accretion, that little glaze of ice on the roadways, that could prove to be a big troublemaker across that part of the country. But let's look at totals otherwise, regional view, while we're on this ice map. Let's look at ice across the entirety of the south of this region here. Look how that fills in. I think some ice pockets here. This is going to include, I think the heaviest ice is going to be moving out of the Arklatex through far northern Louisiana, far southeast Arkansas, and into parts of western Mississippi. Okay, I'm about to call some city names out. If you live in these areas, this is where you're looking at the worst ice at this point. So if you live in Texarkana, Shreveport, Louisiana, on up through Farmerville there in northern Louisiana, over to Vicksburg, Mississippi, some of these areas you might get some more of that freezing rain. And remember, you don't even know it's freezing rain because it sounds like rain hitting your roof, but you will know when you see the icicles. But yeah, western Mississippi as well. Locally, and I say locally, we'll get, someone's probably going to get 4/10 of an inch, maybe even a half an inch of ice accretion right in here. I'm not telling you who. I'm saying locally in this region, someone's going to pick that up. But overall, the overwhelming majority is going to be around 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice from East Texas, pretty much just southeast of Dallas, onward to the east of there, through north central Louisiana, through central and most of northern Mississippi, and southern Arkansas. All these areas, you're at least 1/10 to 1/4. I think the best spot where we can kind of bet more on the potential for 1/4 to a half an inch being the actual average is down there in far southeast Arkansas out of this picture. This is one model. Let's look at the NAM model and see how much ice it's spitting out over this region because, gotta give it a little credit after yesterday. Let's see how much it's spitting out and play that on down. Here's how much ice. I mean, it doesn't show much, except it shows South Texas getting a little bit more. I don't really know where this is coming from, why the NAM's not showing much ice. I mean, you would hope that this would be the kind of event you get, but I wouldn't count on it being the kind of event you get down here in Texas. Alright, shoot away your questions. I'd love to answer them. Let's go back to the HRRR. And I also want to show you what kind of ice we get here in the parts of this region as well. Moving on up into parts of Tennessee, because this is some of that ice you could get towards the tail end, and this could really mess your event up. That snow event in Tennessee. Even this .01, that little light glaze of ice there in Tennessee, watch that. But I think through parts of northern Mississippi and northern Alabama to far northwest Georgia, that's where the ice continues in that 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch. Maybe a little bit less as well in some spots. How much snowfall in the Cuchero ratio here? Actually, let's do the model ratio in this case, because the HRRR has been panning this out pretty well, I think. So again, right now, just in the next hour or two, maybe up to an inch possible there in parts of northwestern Mississippi as this totals on up. Because remember, this is coming down quite hard there. These totals have gone up a little bit from yesterday, I think. But these totals, it's if you go with the HRRR, you're getting about 8 inches of snow in Nashville. So this is pretty legit in that area. So keep that in mind. Let's duplicate this. Weather Prediction Center showing, let's see, here's the forecast totals. Here's your key messages from the Weather Prediction Center. Snowing steady now here in Tennessee. Yeah, it's starting to get going there. Maybe we'll look at the live radar here again in a minute. Heavy snow again impacting the Intermountain West. That's tapering off soon. High avalanche danger over there. I'm mainly focused on this graphic here, which is that snowfall forecast graphic from the Weather Prediction Center there. You can see it in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. And you can see the key as well. Those yellow pockets are where you're looking at maybe 6 inches, closer to 8 inches possible. So again, in that northwestern Mississippi, where we're already confirming right now on the ground that there is heavier snow coming down, I think that's an area where you could get some of the bigger totals. But again, through Nashville, Weather Service saying 3 to 5, HRRR model showing 5 to 8. So in Nashville, right now, I would say 5 inches is a good call. Okay, so that goes up from my kind of 3-4 inch call yesterday. I think we're at 5 inches in Nashville right now, and the reason I say that is because if you look at this model guidance, you look at the HRRR. That's pretty good sight if you're a snow lover in Nashville, and really over most of Central Tennessee. That's a pretty good sight to see. Back to the NAM. I want to look at its snowfall. This is the 10-to-1. And look at how it piles things up. Again, it shows at least 5 inches in Nashville, which goes in line with the Weather Prediction Center. And it does show a heavier stripe just southeast of Nashville as well. Now, again, it does pile up additional totals there into Appalachia. And some of these totals, those deep purples there in far eastern Tennessee, closer to a foot. I don't agree with that. But just keep that in mind in Nashville. I think your total is going to be around 5 inches there. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We're going to keep this live stream going for a little bit. But hit that like button and please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. I post videos a good bit, as well as do these. Been starting to get into the habit of doing some evening live streams as well to kind of get everybody in the know on what's on the way. So hitting that subscribe button really helps me out. It's right down below where the little window where you're watching this. But let's go back and also ask me questions. That helps me out when you ask those questions, or helps me answer you. Let's look at those snow totals in the northeast out of the HRRR, because remember it's gonna make its way on off in that direction. And let's kind of play this out like so, and look at those totals add up. I mean, this shows maybe 3 to 5 inches of snow into parts of eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, southern New York, western Massachusetts, and yes, this does include New York City. New York City, the only thing that slows your snowfall here is if dry air is in place. I do think, though, that you have that capability to get into that category. But if we're going to be realistic, and we're going to look at a National Weather Service map, because that's what we should do, right? Here's how much snow you're getting. 2 to 4 inches of snow. So New York City right now, you're looking at a decent 2 to 4 inches of snow out of this event, if you look at the National Weather Service totals. Okay, so not bad. There's still the lake effect going on off Erie and Ontario, by the way, this evening. That should begin winding down tomorrow. Let's go back down into the Ohio Valley. Here comes that snow. And then again, heavier totals, maybe near Nashville. So we're kind of getting that indication here. The wind gusts out of the system, 24-hour max gusts. Yeah, we're not getting wind, really. Let's talk about the temperatures in the country over the next several days. Let's start off here. Well, below zero over the north central is what we've been having today. Into tomorrow morning, you're waking up to negative 15 to negative 25 there. Through the northeast, 5 to 15. And this is not with wind chill, what I'm talking about right now. These are just temperatures. Anywhere in the purples, we're pretty much 5 degrees and below. And later this week, interestingly enough, cold air is actually going to make its way into the southeast as well. And I think this makes things interesting for a 0 degree reading possible, maybe through northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, all the way on up here. And then this kind of intensifies the cold over the north central. Notice these temperatures in the negatives up here. In the northeast U.S. as well. The second cold blast that comes later this week is going to really intensify the cold over that area. Go over to Colorado, Kansas here. Yes. Are we talking temperatures? Are we talking snow? We'll just look at temperatures through the week first. First of all, here's your high temperature today. It hasn't been very good. 2 to 5 from eastern Colorado to Kansas. Tomorrow morning, waking up negative 5 to negative 15. Yeah, time to shut down the roads. Did they really need to move the Bills game? I mean, my opinion on that, I watch some football myself. Did they need to move the Bills game? I mean, I think it's just they can't, get in trouble for having someone, drive dangerously in that snow because it has piled up in heavy amounts around Buffalo, New York. Um, I do think pretty much all the locals of Buffalo could have probably handled driving through that snow, and they would drive through that snow to get to the game. Don't get me wrong, um, but I think just public safety reasons with the Bills game. But back to Kansas. Sorry, that got me distracted there for a second. Highs. I've been showing you the high on Monday into the teens. I believe is what we were just looking at. Negative teens though at night. Monday night going into Tuesday morning. Look at this. We warm back up. Kind of. This is nicer temperatures. Maybe thawing out a little bit Wednesday afternoon. But then look at this. I'm going to show you down the road. We get colder again at night towards the middle to back towards the end of this week, really. They're from eastern Colorado to Kansas. But yeah, reading the chat. Yeah, I mean, it's let's look at what's going on in Buffalo with the snow. Is it still coming down pretty hard up there? I think it is. In fact, let's go over to live radar. Turn this over to Omega. Let's go over here and look at the current radar as I'm filming this. Yeah, there's still that snow band, and it is sitting right over Buffalo right now. This evening. Let's see what we can look at here. Winter weather. Yeah, that's some pretty heavy snow just sitting right over Buffalo. That I-90 corridor is just getting hit by some pretty nice snowfall coming down still. Again, these bands, they play off the wind. Once the Great Lakes, if they do freeze over, then we eliminate lake effect snow, because what goes into lake effect snow is the warm lake waters and cold air, and of course the energy for snow. But we're also getting pretty heavy snow up here, I-81, Watertown. Both of the big lake effect locations are feeling it. They are feeling it tonight with some pretty heavy snow coming down. Just waiting for the snow to fly here in Cleveland, Tennessee. Yep. I don't know why this scan is showing it being all rain on winter weather radar. But if we wind this back, there we go. Or I don't know why that scan showed it like that. But some of these pockets just north of Tupelo have been heavy. Near Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Nashville's kind of in a little bit of these kind of grayish blue colors, indicating there's a little bit of a break going on there. Good to see snow across Tennessee, though, considering the fact that we've been kind of in that whole ordeal with the tornadoes about a month ago. But yeah, it's closing in on you in Cleveland, Tennessee. And I do think you'll get some snow very, very soon this evening. I don't know why. Again, I don't know why that radar shows everything turn over to rain, because that's not accurate. But yeah, we've got a new run out of the HRRR coming out right now. So let's look at what that does with the snow. There's your Cleveland, Tennessee area. Some rain and some snow in that vicinity. And then look at this, kind of picks up tonight and then kind of lifts away. But, so you might get this brief batch this evening. I think it's brief, not much accumulation. Where you could get accumulation of some heavy snow and then some ice. That's as we go into our Monday afternoon. In fact, look at how, as a little burst of energy comes out of the southwest, that kind of feeds the whole Appalachian chain for some heavier snowfall at that point. Any other questions, everyone? Snow to start melting next Tuesday. Yeah, I do honestly think up here, you're talking to me from Wisconsin, we're going to see, I think in about 10 days, we're going to have a high pressure ridge right here. And January 23rd to 24th, I do think we're going to start to have high pressure ridging right here. I don't want to say mark my words, but I do want to tell you, I do think we'll eventually begin to warm back up here. But yes, tomorrow, Again, let's see what the signal is with snow in this latest HRRR run as it's being produced. Again, kind of showing that heavier band just near Nashville. And then again, look, we do see that move on up into the northeastern U.S., potentially uninterrupted snow in a place like New York City all the way on over to Boston. And here's how this totals up. Will St. Louis get snow? I don't think so, but we'll look at that in a second here. Again, here's those latest forecast totals. HRRR holding true. 6 to 8 inches near Nashville. So right now, if I'm in Nashville, I'm counting on about my forecast for you in Nashville right now is 5 to 6 inches. I don't think it would be hard for you to overachieve. On up into New York City, my forecast for you is about 2 inches. Wouldn't be hard for you to overachieve, and then we'll see how this continues playing on off towards the northeast. This is the furthest I can go with this model run right now. St. Louis, let's go over there. Maybe a trace of snow. Let's see where that comes from. Where's the little snow that's going to give you that trace? Because the HRRR is showing one. Let's see where that comes from. Here. Yeah, there's a little batch of snow. You know what this is? This is partially what helps keep this system going off towards the east. But really what helps make this system off towards the northeast, you kind of see everything start lifting up. You even notice some thunderstorm activity off the North Carolina coast. There's a weak low pressure system trying to kind of develop on this boundary, and that's why that snow's kind of curling around the system on the northern end. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Back to the southwest. There's that icing. But yeah, maybe a brief batch of snow in St. Louis as we go kind of Monday night into our Tuesday. I don't see that being much. But it does help. And it's kind of that northern piece of energy. You know, when you talk about a system forming in the northeast and becoming a nor'easter, you need that southern end piece of energy and you need that northern end. You need the phasing of the two jet streams. And we might get a little bit of that phasing to try and occur, sure enough, up there in the northeast. Let's see, this is mainly just polar jet. Let's go. I'm pulling up, kind of showing you what's behind everything here. Again, we've got a big dip in the jet stream. This is your 500 millibar jet stream, which is essentially your mid to upper level jet, showing you those winds well above our heads. Okay, and look at that jet. It kind of, you see there's two pieces to it. This is kind of the subtropical jet down here. This is the polar. You can kind of see those two pieces anyway. This is mostly being... And then you notice that intensifying piece of jet energy here towards the end. This doesn't mean there's stuff happening right here over parts of the Ohio Valley. This is just showing that the trough kind of that's supporting this nor'easter-like system is right there, and that is strengthening trough. What this is also showing you here, this whole thing is your polar jet like that. You got the subtropical jet kind of punching into it like so. This is why that colder air is especially locked up here over the northern U.S. But with the jet stream going all the way down to here, that's why the jet stream kind of brings some colder air down to the south. Yeah, we were looking at Nashville snow totals not too long ago, but thanks for asking the question. Let's get back over to that. Right now, I'm giving you the call of 5 inches of snow. Okay. I think it's starting up right there, right now. But this is your forecast snow from the HRRR model. And it's showing about half a foot. And I've seen the National Weather Service outlook, and it's showing about 4 to 6. So if I had to make a call, I would say about 5 to 7 inches of snow is about on the table. You are so welcome. Thank you. Looks like you're checking out. Have a good day. If that's what you're doing. Digging Mary. But yeah, otters, can you take a look at the Nashville snow totals? Yeah, this is what I would say about 5-6 inches, probably if I had to bet. If you go just a little south of Nashville, you might get that heavier streak. This is going to include parts of Cookeville as well. And then you get that Appalachian influence right here. But again, this is kind of the whole thing. If we were to look at this like we're looking at severe thunderstorms with our composite reflectivity. This is some darker greens showing up there in the northeast with this next system. That's pretty hefty snow trying to come down. But let's go back to current radar. Yeah, for real, hit the like button, everyone. Got that in the chat. Love it. There we go. Here's our latest scan 5 minutes ago. And we've got snow coming down through parts of central Tennessee, through southwest Kentucky, back down into northern Mississippi. Active radar showing, here are some of those little freeze and rain pockets already erupting back here through Tyler, Longview, and Texas, Shreveport, Louisiana, on over to Greenville, Mississippi. Some freezing rain in that area. But some of that snow in southeast Arkansas is embedded heavier. Some of this up here in northern Mississippi. I think this is where our heaviest snow is as the storm gets going. Depending on how long this goes, this could turn out to bring some pretty, maybe close to 8 inches of snow if that continues there in far northern Mississippi. There's that one little run that turned that over to, I don't know why it turned it over to rain. Again, we've got people watching near Cleveland, Tennessee, and Chattanooga region. Do you think this is what will happen? The local channels are saying 3 to 5 in Nashville. I think, I said yesterday, like 3 to 5 is what I was saying yesterday. Now I've changed my opinion to 5 to 7. So yeah, if your local news station is saying 3 to 5 in Nashville, and I'm saying 5 to 7, and the models are saying around 6, I would go with 5. To be honest with you, I think 5 inches is a good call in Nashville. But please tune into my comments. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. And tune into my comments over the next couple of days and let me know how much you got. Because I would love to know what ended up happening. Let me know how much snow you got in Nashville. So keep that in mind in the Nashville region. Yes, it's possible one day. 5 to 7 inches for Nashville. Yeah, I'm going with about 5-6 inches in Nashville. It's already getting going right now. Downtown Nashville proper, okay? Downtown Nashville itself is in a little bit of a lull. But I think some of these heavier pockets moving out of western Tennessee, those are going to clip you. But I don't want to ignore the fact that it's snowing up here in Louisville, albeit it's flurries. On up into southwest West Virginia, we've got some light snow. Okay. So this is what we've got this evening right now. Maybe some rain trying to mix with snow. Starkville, Mississippi, on over to Jasper there in Alabama. But again, new scan just came in. Heaviest snow right along I-22, just northwest of Tupelo. Lake effect still going up here. It's also snowing pretty hard just west of Denver. This is where we're worried about those avalanche concerns. But overall, if you look at the whole country, there's not a whole lot going on. We don't have a major system over the country. Probably. Let's see if we can. Yeah, we can't get anything that I want. Memphis, snowing pretty good. And again, some of this is going to continue to shift east as the evening goes on. Some of this will be shifting east as the evening goes on, everyone. Let's go back to future radar. we've got this whole 0Z run process now by the HRRR. This is going to really help us out. Come on. Alright. Would you say 5 to 6? Which is a pretty good bet on... Yeah, 5-6. Pretty good bet. Alright. Let's go. Will North Carolina get any? Good question. Unless you're in those mountains there, the Appalachian Mountains, then you're not. You might get a flurry in far northern parts of the state, but I'm just kind of running through and back through and, piddling around here. And no. Not North Carolina. Might start off as a little bit there, just north of Greensboro, but the latest trends would say not. Unless you're over here, then I don't think so in North Carolina. Better luck next time, unfortunately. I am watching some stuff late week. We can take a look at what I'm looking at for late week real quick. Let's look at the GFS and run through what we're showing with the GFS here. Come on. Alright, there we go. Here's this system again. It flattens out. We've got the sleet and this freezing rain back towards the back end of the system. Here comes that snow band, and it moves into the northeast. And there we go again. New York could get some, maybe a couple inches of snow out of this. This moves out of here. Next spot we look is going to be out here in the Pacific Northwest. It's going to move to this east and from there. We've still got some lake effect snow going on, 75 hours out. Is this still the same event? Not necessarily. A new little lake effect snow is just going to be persistent over the next several days, okay? So we might get an event to briefly taper off tomorrow, but we kind of get a new set. But again, look as we go towards the end of this week. New little winter storm. This is new. I'll tell you how cold it'll be in St. Louis here in moments. This is a new winter storm at Friday. I don't know exactly how this is going to shape up, but this does look like some sort of new system will develop. Could that one bring some snow to North Carolina? Again, let me show you that one dance on through. It shows this setting up as another potential nor'easter kind of setup, and that would bring the chance, if there's enough moist air to produce snow, upstate South Carolina through North Carolina, you might get some snow. Depends. But up here in the northeast, we'll have to watch nor'easter potential with that again, because this is why we watch cold air and El Niños for events like this. And then after that, we'll continue to monitor for systems. But again, the GFS does show a warmer pattern developing. In St. Louis, Missouri, let's leave this on Omega for a second. Are we still on Omega at this point? Yeah, we're still on Omega. Let's go to St. Louis's 7-day forecast. St. Louis. From our National Weather Service. There. And look at how cold you're going to get. Let's read that off. North Alabama are going to get 5 to 6 inches from the latest model. We'll look at that in a second here. We got a wind chill advisory. Okay. So the coldest you're going to be getting wind chill is around 20 below zero, which is dangerous. So keep that in mind. North Alabama, I can talk about the snow all day in North Alabama, but I think you're going to have too much freezing rain and sleet, to be honest with you, to make this a good event there. But we can play it out. I'm going to be capping off the stream here momentarily. Yeah, I see what you mean. If you're at the far northern part of Alabama, locally up to 5 inches possible. That is the far northern part, and that is still not even considering the fact that some freezing rain and sleet changeover is possible, if not likely. Because this is where you could also have those ice totals, maybe at least a glaze to a tenth, maybe a little more. But yeah, this has been about an hour stream. Again, I apologize for those technical difficulties we had towards the start a little bit. Here's that freezing rain accretion. Yeah, I don't know why the H-tripler's not. This doesn't work well on here. Heaviest accretion is going to be. Don't even focus on the color scheme here. Heaviest accretion is going to be right around here. No, Huntsville, Alabama is not getting 6 inches of snow. They're getting about 3 to 5 at the highest. That is at the highest. Look, let's look. HRRR has been quite lenient with snowfall in northern Alabama. This is the amount Huntsville's getting. I think a couple inches in Huntsville. That's going to be your best hope. And that's not even considering the fact that at the end we get that warmer push with freezing rain. Look through other models for Nashville snow. Yeah, I've looked through the NAM. Here's the NAM. NAM looks like this. Again, I get that 6-inch indication from the NAM too. And it even shows some heavier pockets just southeast of town. I'm going 5 to 6 in Nashville. And I think that's being, to be honest with you, I think that's a pretty safe bet. I really do. Unless we see a major change. My call for Nashville is expect 5 to 6. Again, right around there. If I'm going broader, I'm saying 4 to 7. But 5 to 6 if I'm being specific. Locally up to 8 inches possible on the southeast side of town. That's the NAM. This is the GFS. Nashville, the GFS, you're getting about 5 inches of snow. But again, notice where those heavier concentrations are. They're just southeast of town. So I really do think Nashville's getting 5 or 6. Really could get a half foot of snow. Let's go to temperatures just one last time. Again, this cold air is dangerous up here over the far northern plains as it sits around and then eventually will try to sink southward. Keyword eventually. Sorry, we're loading it up. It's a long run because the GFS has 384 hours. Any other models I can check? I mean, I can check other models all day long. But I just don't think any other model to look at. Let's look. I'll tell you what the Euro's showing for Nashville. I can do that. You're welcome. I can tell you what other models are showing. What the Euro's showing. Let's do that in Nashville. I love talking about individual cities. And to be honest with you, one thing I love about having kind of a smaller channel, albeit thank you everyone for the growth recently. I love the growth and the views I've been getting lately. I really appreciate it, everyone. I'm looking at the Euro on my own end right now. Okay, and this is how much snow you're showing in Nashville out of the Euro. Drum roll. And I'm not even kidding you. The Euro's going about 5 inches. I'm not even kidding. I'm dragging the cursor over Nashville, and it is showing like 5 inches. So I think 5 inches is about as close as you're going to get. Any warnings in St. Louis? No, you're looking at a wind chill advisory, though. So not a warning, a wind chill advisory, meaning that you should stay inside if possible. Okay, if you have to go outside, you're bundling up as much as you can. And that's going to be the conclusion of this stream. Again, I appreciate everybody so much for being on here. Again, look at later this week, we get that kind of secondary. There's that secondary blast of colder air later this week right there. That's the one we'll have to watch. That's going to try and dive southward as well. show you the Euro. Yeah, I can show you the Euro. There it is. That's the Euro. And again, there's the key down towards the bottom. It drags Nashville right into that, again, that 5-inch range. I think you could get up to 8 inches, but I really don't think that's going to be. Your chances are highest for 5 to 8 inches, but closer to 5. Yep, closer to 5 inches of snow. And that's going to be it for this stream, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Have a great one, everyone. Stay safe out there. Keep those pipes dripping in the cold weather. Try not to go outside. If you're in the south, you know there's distracted drivers because there's snow flying. And that's it. Have a good